Alrighty, and we're live. Welcome back, boys and girls. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. As I mentioned in the various discords, starting today, I'll be doing a live review with Q&A every day at 11 p.m. Eastern till whenever I get done reviewing. This will again be every weekday, so make sure you guys stop by. Today being the inaugural day of holy frames drop. What the heck? We good? Okay, we're good. Today being the inaugural day of this beautiful review, I'm going to be doing a self-review from back when I played. This will be, I think it was the first or second day of my tryouts with bye week. This will be a Lucio POV gameplay. So hopefully this will be helpful to at least some people. Alright. So let's start it off.
No way, right?
Through all of our headsets across the planet.
If anything is scuffed, sound, video, etc., please let me know, and I will attempt to adjust. Am I dropping frames? It looks like I'm dropping frames.
I'm pretty sure these guys are in Orisa, right?
Am I dropping frames?
It's... Oh, well, they're probably gonna good dive. I think a combo plays with Orisa at all. I could be wrong though.
This shit, my Overwatch is at one
Shouldn't be
sound.
dropping frames. We should be good.
I see Monkey,
Winston,
Diva, Ana, Lucio.
Okay, so as a side note, this is going to be a rather in-depth review, so bear with me if things get a little tedious. So roll out here. I turn around at this point just to make sure that everybody is in my aura and that I'm not leaving my flex support behind. A lot of times if you're redditing out of spawn, you'll end up leaving people behind, so good when you get to like a choke point to turn around, make sure everybody's still in your aura and that you're good to go, that you can progress forward from there.
I see Monkey,
Winston,
Diva, Ana, Lucio.
Okay, right here, I briefly checked through the window to see if I can see anything. I realize that the team's already calling it, so that I don't need to do anything, so I'm good to keep going.
On the left side.
Okay, at this point, I start pre-firing. This is right here at this crosshair level. It's head level for people walking up the stairs. So just pre-firing preemptively to hit heads if anybody is walking out. Unfortunately, the tank already passed, so I wasn't able to hit them, but just getting some decent spam. Slight jiggle peek right there to see if anybody was playing on the left. Hello, things look good. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so that was a slight jiggle peek to see if anybody was playing the left side of the staircase that I need to be aware of, just in case somebody was rotating that I wasn't aware of.
Countering.
I should have checked my left once already now. Checked my left to make sure that nobody was pathing to flank us on the side.
Okay.
It's not the worst thing in the world since I saw my team anyways.
No pod.
Dodge
Start in,
pod,
look at monkey.
it's good. Aura swapping here. Yeah, reviewing my own VOD, yeah. Okay, so aura swapping here, the reason for aura swapping is aura has a lingering hitbox if you amp, but if you're not amping, it doesn't have a lingering hitbox. So the reason I'm swapping there is to maximize my value, basically. So switch to heals to give temporary healing, switch back to speed to help people repositioning. So it's just kind of like judging the fight as it goes live, and it's like, okay, well, I want to be on heals because our tanks are low, but if our tanks aren't low, then I can swap to speed real quick and make sure people can get into position a little bit faster, just like microing your ability usage to make sure it's more
I'm
efficient.
hacked, I'm hacked.
Swap to heals and amp. I hear the hack going off on our tank, so I know that means I need to amp to keep him alive so that he doesn't die.
I don't have DM.
Swap to speed as soon as we make sure that he doesn't die to get him back into the choke. As soon as he gets into the choke, swapping back to heals to make sure that I keep everybody alive. Again, speed, heal, just make sure I'm swapping back and forth to keep people in tempo. He does regardless. I probably shouldn't have been swapping to speed there in that situation. I thought we were going to keep kiting, but once I realized that we weren't kiting, I should have held heal. Or if I wanted to keep swapping and wanted us to keep kiting, I should have communicated that we were supposed to keep kiting.
We're down one kite out.
I'm reloading.
Play up.
Okay, so I finally communicated that we're supposed to reset. That reset call for me was late. I should have called it a little bit sooner. Big purple like this. I should make sure that everybody's living. Leafa and Waifu are both too far forward right here. Since they're purple and the other team get engaged on us, I should be calling for us to back up. But I don't think we get punished, so it's not the biggest deal in the world.
We can heal up and go in a second. They're gonna keep trying to stuff.
Okay, this is me hitting tab. I should have done this sooner. Every single 345 on every single map, you should hit tab just to see what's going on. I should have hit tab sooner to see what I could see if there's any comps, any swaps. Hitting it here is okay, but it was a little late. Not the worst thing in the world, but again, should have hit it sooner.
Controlling the Sombra and then apply
We just
pressure.
have to punish them if they come.
We're gonna keep trying to stuff choke. Let's make sure we're controlling the Sombra and then apply
Keep
pressure.
trying to get
have to
stuff. Okay, yeah. So I'm saying here,
Yeah,
briefly looking at their comp, I was like, okay, what are they going to try to do? what we need to worry about is they're going to be stuffing our choke here. We won't be able to get in the choke, right? So the easiest way for us to counter that is to have Leafa cancel out their Sombra by canceling himself out. So basically our Sombra takes a 1-on-1 to annihilate their Sombra. If both Sombras are isolated, that only leaves their Tracer as a threat to our tanks and backline. I know that I can control the Tracer. So I control Tracer and cancel her out. Leafa controls Saucy on Sombra and knocks him out. That means that it's a straight tank fight, which theoretically we should be favored in. So at this point, I tell us to make sure we're controlling the Sombra and play off of that.
In a second, they're gonna keep trying to stuff choke. Let's make sure we're controlling the Sombra, and then I'll play
We just
pressure.
have to punish them if they come up that far.
Yeah, they're running Sombra Tracer, so we definitely have damage advantage. Make sure
Monkey,
we-
close, monkey hard.
We get the hack, so I amp. I heard the hack go off from our left, so I check left to see what I can see. I see it's a Sombra. I know that she's going to be trying to get pressure onto her Ana to deny healing, so I go to zone her here. Any situation, as a Lucio player, your main job is to keep your Ana alive at all times, right? Like, you're the peeler for your flex support. And a big part of that is preemptively taking duels with enemy flankers to deny them the ability to pressure your flex support, right? Because if your flex support is forced to use abilities on flankers, that means she doesn't have the abilities for other thing, right? So it's like, if you can go take a duel with a Sombra and force her to translocate or force Tracer's recall, that means that your Ana will have nade for your tanks or nade to play aggressively or sleep to use on the tanks when they dive. So it's just, you want to try to zone as many flankers as possible, as much as possible. So here I reload, I boop. Boop typically is like the easiest way to disengage Sombra, because if I didn't miss shots and I landed headshots and booped her and meleeed her, she'd be below 100 HP, which means she would be forced to recall. And even if I don't land shots and I just boop her, she's now out of LOS, which means that she would have to rotate back into position to get onto my flex support, or translocate out and reset and go again.
I'm low.
At this point, I realize she's not coming back, so I can go help the rest of my team. I see that my team's doing a pretty good job of fighting over here. They have a nice little fight going on. They've got an advantage. At this point, we're up 2 players. We killed their main tank and their off healer, or their main healer rather. So we know that all that they have left is their flex support and off tank, which means that we can freely pressure the point because they don't have the point presence to sustain against us. We can also dive onto their backline because they don't have the peels to stop us. So at this point, I choose and I either call for us to commit to point and force the fight there, or to continue pressuring and that I'd go solo cap point. Those are our 2 best options.
I'm reloading. I can't finish
I end up healing for the Tracer, which wasn't needed.
I don't have BM right now.
We're also pretty split. I finally make the play to go point here, which is a little late.
Everybody come point. Everybody come point.
Nano D.Va from the cart.
They nano D.Va and commit bomb into a losing fight, which is pretty bad. They also, okay, they use 3 ults into a losing fight. Don't do that, chat. Don't be that guy. Don't use 3 ults in a losing fight if you think you can win it. Monkey tries to solo commit to the point to capitalize on it, that doesn't get value. Sombra is staggered. They get an additional 10% on the clock, but they used 3 ults for it to our 1 ult, so not worth for them.
I'm getting her.
They also used EMP before I got beat, which is bad on me for not getting beat sooner, but really good for us because I now have a free beat since they just use EMP and I don't have to save to counter.
You Winston back,
Honest.
please.
I need help.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you.
At this point, I'm just AFK, taxiing back our Winston since we need him. We can take the fight without our Doomfist, but we can't take the fight without our Winston, really. So just getting the Winston back in time. I should reset here to our Flex support to get her full on HP rather than playing to the point. It was bad on me. Should not have done that.
What the fuck? That was sick.
Healing up pizza. We play for. Go for our EMP play here. EMP play.
Some cluttered comms. I should have just talked over him and just got the plan out. Just make sure that we know what we're going for.
I'll carry her in our round 2 on that.
What was that?
We play for. Go for our EMP play here. EMP play. I'll carry her.
Okay, EMP play. That's a little vague. I was making vague calls because I assumed the players I was playing with would understand what I meant by the calls and that I didn't have to explain to them. What I meant by EMP play here was that we would look to commit with EMP before they could finish their pathing phase and engage on them while they were disoriented and weak from EMP. So if they're pathing left to point, we'd hit them before they hit the staircase. If they're pathing right to point, we'd like to hit them somewhere by the mini. So just as they're in the process of pathing, we hit them with an EMP, we interrupt their idea of what they want to do, and then we engage off of that. I called that I would be kiting for our Ana, which would tell the rest of the team that we're looking for a 4-2 split with 4 people going forward and our Ana and I playing back and playing safe.
In our round 2 on that Winston.
I'm confiscated.
Tracer,
I'm a little late.
Our Doomfist communicates that he's not going to be there, and our Sombra communicates that she's discovered, so she can't do anything. So this means that we have to slow our play down and bait the point instead.
Here.
Alright.
They're gonna try to hack you, okay?
Waifu does a good job of controlling point. We get a nice hack on the
right.
Tracer, or we almost get a hack on the Tracer, right?
Yeah, I think that broke
Winston
your leg.
commits deep. We decide to solo EMP the Winston because we know we 100% can kill him. We're not sure if he has primal or not, so committing EMP there just basically
Alright,
means
come
he
on,
guarantees
come
a
on,
kill and force their reaction,
Bubble them.
Nice.
which is what we see happen here. Is we get the kill on the Winston, we
D.Va,
force
D.Va,
D.Va's reaction,
D.Va,
which means
D.Va.
D.Va should lose her mech. I could beat the situation because our D.Va mech was low, but I know she has bomb, so I don't want to commit the beat because whenever your tank has an ult, you don't want to commit a support ulti to keep them alive because all of the tank ults refresh their HP pool to max, so it's not worth wasting your temporary HP when they have a HP refresh themselves.
Half and half. Just one. Tracer on point.
Tracer and
Where's
Winnie.
baby?
Tracer 1, Tracer 1.
I'm hacking
Yeah,
half on point.
I see the Ana
Sombra
free
half.
healing and the fight's already
Ana
won,
free
so I
low.
just go to zone her out the rest of the way just to make sure that she can't do anything. And
Those
maybe
are
it's
my
fun.
enemies. Let's go
Not
for
bad
it.
at aiming,
Pop.
I got a free kill, but
Okay.
unfortunately I suck, so I don't.
Farm up Nano Winston, go with that. They're gonna be coming in with.
Okay, so let's realize
Go for
what's
Nano.
called.
I don't know, pot. Okay.
Farm up Nano Winston, go with that. They're gonna be coming in with the Primal EMP. Primal EMP pulse, probably beat. I'll counter the Primal with beat.
Okay, so that plan there is we're going to farm Nano Winston. We're at 60% or 70% Nano right now, which means our tanks need to go forward and eat damage so that we can build our Nano so that we can engage with Nano. I call that I will beat their engage on us, and I said that they're going with a Primal EMP, which means I need to be playing in a position where I can't be EMP'd and where my flex support is safe so that he doesn't get forced, I'm not forced to beat him to keep him alive because of a Primal used preemptively. So because of that, I'll be looking to hold amp and play at an off angle from Pizza so that if I get EMP'd, Pizza won't get EMP'd, and if Pizza gets EMP'd, I won't get EMP'd. But all while at the same time being close enough to get Pizza in my aura to speed him out before Winston can dislocate him with Primal.
Or I'll counter EMP rather than beat.
So the safest place here for me, if Pizza's playing Pillars, is for me to play this back area where I can see where everybody's coming from, get good pre-fire at head level to help counter out a Sombra pathing, and just in general, see what's going on.
Okay. I'm
Tracer,
getting Nano.
Tracer.
I start kiting back a little bit here because again I need to not be impeded. Pizza moves forward, so I go forward to help him.
Wait a second.
We have a pick at this point, so the play here should be to commit and take the fight while we're on the player.
Yeah, they're going all the way around.
another
Even
hack.
though shipped, I need heals on point.
Unfortunately, our Sombra gets kind
Listen,
of
drop the
isolated,
chase.
so we decided to let them rotate and just flip the map instead.
Anna, last time I was asleep.
Anna sleep, I'm hacking Anna, Anna hack. Anna has Anna.
I'm good.
You ready?
Jump into
Yeah,
cart.
yeah,
I'm not ready.
Nano again.
I need
Good call from Shearshow here to make sure everybody was on the same page. Yo, what's up, Mako? So good call from Shearshow here to make sure that everybody's on the same page and ready to engage.
I got you.
Tracer off respawn, so I just started
Tracer
zoning
no
Tracer, trying to keep him off Pizza.
Monkey needed.
Notice I'm still holding beat because I know they have EMP, right? And I don't want to commit beat before they use either primal or EMP. Preferably, I don't want to commit beat until after the EMP 100%, but I definitely don't want to commit beat until they primal.
I'm asleep.
Because I can peel for the
Tracer,
Nano Winston since we have enough people here, but I can't
Anna one in the back.
can't peel for both Nano Winston and primal if I commit beat that early.
Have to beat.
Keep that now.
I beat to counter the primal, but unfortunately he gets moved in the pit, so it's not his value. I do manage to hit I think, at least 2 or 3 people with it, so
Why
it's
did
not
Anon
an unvalue beat. I head back to point since the fight's devolving here.
Wait, Anna,
I should be calling for us to rotate point, but all of us are preemptively rotating here, so I don't need to call it.
Anna's in
Anna under.
Cubby half.
Luke's just trying to peel for an
Deep bomb over the top, so I just
I'm
kite
coming back
back to
late.
a little bit of a safer
Is your
position.
half?
Wall ride my way back in.
top?
Let's scuff wall rides. Go for a Reddit play here.
You guys
Dislocate
want
one
this?
person. That's good. Sombra's forcing
Lucio
something
hack,
out, which
Lucio
keeps on the
Lucio
fight.
hack.
I swap to heals to make sure I get my
looked
team
at
up.
Monkey dead.
I get EMP'd, so I just play super safe. If I had realized our D.Va one was up, I should play in the open
Almost
here.
MVP.
Because they
D.Va
can't
on
tell
the
me
right,
what
alone.
bomb
D.Va on the
next
right,
to.
alone.
D.Va 1 coming back to cart.
I'm just
Pressing your
keeping
front.
the
Going back right side
D.Va
of
at this
point.
point, just denying her
You're gonna boost
entrance.
Center
into
right.
cart.
D.Va has to die.
I'm playing very safe during this fight because I don't want to die. I'm our only healer, so if I die, we have a much greater chance of losing the fight. So because of that, I'm playing a very passive and safe angle, just kind of goalkeeping the back side of point.
I have heals on you.
Tracer.
At this point, I know our Ana's almost back, so it's safe for me to be aggressive, and they don't really have anybody who can punish me, so I start
Left
rotating
side,
forward to be a
left
little bit more
Tracer dead.
aggressive.
Yeah, I'm asleep. Anna right side. Lucio touches.
Lucio hack.
So
I'm
it's
gonna
just
go on Ana.
basic
Lucio
Lucio
one
play
coming
here,
back.
just zoning everybody. I get really low, again, so I kite back. Unfortunately, I think they damn near pizza miss or something, or was reloading, so I keep dying.
Okay, one.
Which is bad on me. I shouldn't have been in a position to die, but not the biggest deal in the world. Okay, so that's the first point. So overall, for first point, key takeaways that I noticed when I went over this of things that I should have been done differently was I should have been more vocal with my calls and a little bit more demanding preemptively. I should have not let Pizza rotate forward in that one instance where he got split by Primal. I should have called for him to rotate a set position and sped him that way rather than letting him rotate himself. That would have allowed me to save him because he wouldn't have got booped into the pit. I also should have been more preemptive on trying to zone flankers on the first fight, and in general called for us to kite a little bit more.
Yeah,
That
Leafa, do
medication.
that every day.
Pretty well.
I like it.
I wasn't even thinking. Now he's.
I was talking about Leafa being a genius.
Alright, let's play the game, boys.
You say
Alright, so we're running Goats. Goats is a good comp on this map. There's 4 ways you can path this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we just path it straight down mid, which is the safest route of all of them. There's a lot of factors I don't really want to go into, but mid's the safest as your rollout with Goats. It just denies the most angles and gives you the most rotation abilities. Again, so here, doing my rollout, don't mind me, I'm Reddit. I stop at the choke, I turn around, I make sure our Ana's in aura before I go further, because I don't want to leave our Ana. Back to Reddit, Lucio. You want high ground when you come into point as Lucio, because you can scout. So like right here, I can see anybody walking the left side of choke. If I didn't scuff it, I should be able to see the full choke, but instead I can only see half of the choke. But nonetheless, I can still see half choke. So anything I see, I should be calling, while also getting in preemptive spam, just trying to build all a little bit faster.
It's a Doom. Yep, do it.
Peek the other side because I couldn't see it easier.
Just box the tanks out.
Couldn't see it earlier. We call what they have. I say to box the tanks out. We're running Goats into dive, which means our HP pool as a front line is larger. So if we're playing it correctly, we're gonna have our Reinhardt walk in first. He'll take like half his HP's worth of damage. Then we can have our Diva walk up, take half HP's worth of damage, and then our Zarya can walk up and take her half HP worth of damage. And we can keep cycling like that, and that's called ping-ponging. And if we ping-pong effectively, we should be able to constantly have our tanks being healed while also constantly applying pressure to their front line. Now, we have 3 tanks, they have 2 tanks, therefore we have a greater front line, which means we're able to more efficiently ping-pong our front line into them. So because of that, I say to box their tanks, which means we're going to be playing very aggressive and trying to just physically force their tanks backwards with our tanks walking forwards.
Somewhere right. I need help.
Their Winston engages off of purple, which is good. Haku hits like a fat purple here. It's actually crazy. So Doomfist commits, Winston commits. This is good for them. We use bubble to cleanse and kite. Everybody walks backwards.
I'm purple.
I amp heal as soon as purple ends to make sure that we have it. Their Winston gets booped into us, so I switch to speed real quick to get everybody a little bit further back so we don't get punched or anything. Then back to heals.
Oh, nice. We're down 1.
We traded.
This is just me looking back to make sure we're all together and I don't need to call a regroup. But I see that we're all more or less together and we're even. They're down their main tank, we're down our Bridget, which means we can still engage, we just don't have a hard CC. So I swap to speed so we can push forward, and then I call it push. Doomfist punch in, I call it, but unfortunately we still get hit. It's a big purple onto him,
Dominated.
Purple, good dive.
and then I call we can follow up on
Team
it.
one still. Nice.
And you do, yep, good. So we follow up on the Doom kill. I get hacked, so I can't do anything, so I'm just sitting here trying to zone Diva.
Needed one.
I can hear you.
As soon as I get unhacked, I amp because our Ryan's low. At this point, I'm trying to get up on high ground to kind of see what's going on, so I can call what we need to do. If we need to rotate together to point, if we need to push something, we still have an advantage in this fight. I'm just trying to figure out how we can take advantage of that.
I can hear you.
So I should switch to speed in a
Monkey's
second
back.
here and call what to go on. Yep, so I swap to
I'm
speed,
stunning monkey.
have us pressure in.
Ana's low.
Even now.
Ana's one left
At
side.
this point, we have a very
half.
noticeable advantage, and we capitalize on that.
I'm gonna need their
Whatever.
tanks. I needed Doom.
Yeah, I'm trying to go. Wait, where's Doom?
I didn't want to push this aggressively here. I think we should have reset the point and started planning for our next fight, but I thought the rest of our team was playing aggressive, so I rotated forward to help.
He's right.
He's up.
Reset the card, reset the card, reset.
At this point, I see that we're still kind of split, and we're not going to get value, so I call what I originally wanted, which is to reset the cart.
Okay, I have Nano here.
We can play for aggressive nano and waifu. Or actually, Jay, do you charge or not?
Okay, so I said aggressive nano on waifu here. The reason for that is nanoing our Ryan won't get value against our comp. If we look at our comps matchup, okay, so Nano Ryan is effective to build Shatter. We almost already have Shatter, so that's not a factor. Nano Ryan is good at getting cleave damage, but the only thing we could cleave is their backline. So in order for us to get value from a Nano Ryan, we would have to speed boost as a group off the point into their backline to get value, which opens us up for a Doomfist to punch into us and all, the Diva Bomb to land on us and kill us, a Sombra EMP, Purple. It opens up to a lot of factors. Winston could Primal and disrupt us. There's a lot of different factors that could happen if we in mass push into their backline. So because of this, I call for a Nano Diva, since a Diva that's nanoed can go and zone both backliners and possibly force ult or at least a lot of peel, right? But then I realized that we have a Zarya who's 60-ish on Grav. So I ask if she's turnt, meaning are you high charge? If she's high charge, I'll probably swap to say Nano Zarya instead, and we'll just use her as like a giant beam cannon that will all follow around trying to follow up on damage.
We can play for aggressive Nano and waifu. Or actually, Jade, are you charged or not?
Yeah, I'm high charge.
Yeah,
We
he's
can do the
charged.
Jade then. Just let Jade farm.
Okay, so then I call Let's Let Jade farm, which means that we're going to be playing off of Jade. So in this scenario, we know that we're going to give Nano to a Jade. We know what ults they probably have. So what we should be doing this fight is we'll give, when Jade calls for it, we'll give Jade Nano. I'm holding speed boost for that circumstance. Once we give Jade the Nano, we'll be looking to aggressively engage into them with our increased damage with speed. So I have to be very careful of not wasting amp here and making sure we get our Nano off before I'm forced to amp.
Thanks as they come in.
So if I don't see Jade calling for it soon enough, I'll over call him, I guess, and tell us like, let's go, we gotta go. So that way I can get value from amp. Amp's a very, very powerful ability, and if you're just not getting value out of it, that's super suboptimal. So if you're going for a play that requires your amp, and you're seeing that you're about to be forced to amp because of a different factor, so like I have to heal my Rein, or I have to speed to kite us out and regroup, something like that, make sure that you're calling to get value of it, doing your play before they can make you not get value.
I'm playing left so that if they're on us up there, we're good.
I'm hacked.
Okay.
Yeah, on us top left, on us top left.
Okay, so Anna's called top left, so I figure I'll go rotate out and start
no,
spamming her here. So I see Haku right there sitting, so
bottom
I start spamming. Again, headshot level, because whenever you're spamming, you should always be spamming headshot level. So I get a dink on her, I get 2 more dinks on
Yeah, be
her,
careful.
I rotate to a different angle so I can get better spam, and I get 3 dinks and kill her. So again, spam headshot level, it will actually do something. Yo, Morbid, thank you for the follow.
Okay.
So, Haku dies at this point, I just amp, because I know I'm low HP, so I need to heal, and they can't do anything because they're down their main healer. Or their off healer. They commit EMP into a fight that they already have lost, so at this point, all we need to do is just not feed and die, so as long as we don't die, we win.
I'm on this one.
Our backline does a good job of staying together and kiting, and our front line
I'm
lives
hacked right
during.
now. I can't block.
I'm making sure you're good.
They res their Anna during this, which means the fight's no longer 100% won for us, which means we actually have to make sure we focus together. I see Pharah wrapping back here with damage boost on her, which means she either is trying to build Barrage and then use Barrage on us, or has Barrage and is looking for it. A quick note about Barrage. If you're playing Mercy and your Pharah is going for a Barrage, you should always damage boost the Barrage, not try to heal it. If you try to heal it, you won't be able to out-heal whatever damage is coming into her. But if you damage boost her, you might be able to do enough damage to cancel out what damage would be coming into her. So it's always better for your Pharah to get a 3k with damage boost than to get a 2k without damage boost, right? So just in general, if your Pharah is going for Barrage, you should be damage boosting, not healing. And if you have somebody yell at you in comp queue, tell them they're a moron.
Fair left.
I'm dead.
Oh, Mercy.
Okay, so at this point, I wrap wide because I want to not get hit by any immediate ults and I want to not get hacked. So I know the Sombra's somewhere on the other side here. I know she's somewhere in that vicinity. So I wrap around so that I can hit them from a different angle with beat while also not exposing myself to the fire barrage. I beat, get the leader crush off on everybody, but everybody but Jade, or no, not Jade. Everybody but Leafa, the Bridget. Bridget ran away from me, otherwise he would have got hit by it. I should have communicated that I was beating on point and to play towards me, but I didn't, so that's my fault. They commit both tank ults, so at this point, I'm just trying to get back to our Rein and get a steady regroup.
I'm dead.
Yeah,
Sabra starts fighting me, so I just take the duel. At this point, I'm just playing for stall on cart,
I was hacked the whole time.
and just to deny her
Grab
hack.
Diva Bomb.
They have Barrage coming next. They use everything besides Barrage, but also
So I call the Far Mercy ult coming to the
might
next
have
fight.
VP like 60 again, actually.
He's coming back. Lucio and I are coming back right now.
Yeah. Alright, let's go for a grab Diva here.
I call for Grab Diva play. We know they're coming into this next fight with Barrage. So if we pass anywhere that's exiting somewhere where there's an easy overhang, so like if we go bottom left or mid and we know the Pharah can be over us, I need to be reminding our Diva the entire time that Pharah is looking for Barrage. Where's Pharah? Where's Pharah? Just constantly making sure that everybody's thinking about the Pharah so that we don't get hit by it. Because that is their primary win condition for this next fight. So as long as we don't let that hit us, we should be fine.
And I'm
So
holding right
I
side,
see that
I'm
we're
holding-
passing top left here, which is fine. It's okay to pass into this way, or it's okay to pass this way into a fair that we know is Barrage. But again, I need to be reminding our Diva constantly to watch out for the Pharah and ask where the Pharah is.
Make sure Diva doesn't hack.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
It's right up top. Yeah.
So Shirsho does a good job of calling where she
He
is.
shifted, he
The rest of us
shifted.
kind of jiggle back and forth baiting it. She commits for it. I am speed and heal. We get a nade on us. We punish it. At this point, Winston goes to jump into us. I don't want him on the high ground. If he gets onto the high ground, we could probably kill him. But if I boop him onto the low ground, that means the rest of us can get off of high ground and then continue chasing onto his team and possibly get cleave onto his team as well as
Breaking Buffalo.
So I boop him off the high ground.
Never mind.
I stay on the high ground because I know Farah died up top and I don't want to deny Mercy the opportunity to res.
Yeah, she's going for us. She's going for us.
I don't know. She's
So I sit here and shoot her so she can't res.
There's the half on you. There's the half on you.
I rotate back to the cart to make sure I get help.
D.Va.
Zone Sombra, because again, whenever you can zone flankers, you should be zoning flankers.
Monkey.
Blocking
on him.
And peels on us, boop him out of his bubble
I'll get
so
on
that
the
he
Baron.
can be more easily damaged. Hindsight being 2020, shouldn't have booped him that way because it booped him out of my teammate's ability to damage, but you know.
Keep it playing.
There's top left.
I'm gonna fair with you, fair one. Nice.
So we get a good job of
Nano
punching
EMP should be close. Valk Nano EMP should be close.
I call twice what they have because the first time people were still talking, it might not have heard me, so I reiterate it just to make sure everybody gets what I said.
Primal should be like in the 80s again. We play for our Grab D.Va this fight when we see it.
So we haven't used our Grab D.Va combo because they overextended into us, so I call for us to use that combo again.
It doesn't come in.
I should clarify here that we should be doing it aggressively. I should make sure the team knows that we want to be Grab Diva-ing in this choke. Like, hyper aggressive, don't let them set up, don't let them get an engage. I don't think I do this, and that was definitely a mistake.
I'm just gonna use Nano defensively.
I'm top left. Like,
Pizza calls that he's using Nano defensively, that's really good.
I might be looking.
If your ult tracker doesn't, or your IGL, doesn't specifically say what you should do with your ult, that probably implies that they want you to call what you want to do with it. So, like, if I'm calling ults and I don't say what to do with our D.Va bomb, for example, then I leave it to our D.Va player to, if they see an opportunity to make a play with it. But conversely, it's also on that player to make sure they communicate that they see that opportunity and that they're going for it. Yo, what's up, SQ?
For grab top left, okay? Flexer?
Ana's in main. Ana isn't gonna
You
come
go
there.
main?
Yeah,
I'm
Ana's main.
I'm coming back, I'm hacked.
So
I don't
Jade
have him right now.
realizes that he's in a bad
Yeah, it's
position
fine.
and rotates back. Good on Jade. 10 out of 10
Probably just
Jade
gonna
will do
grab
again.
the tanks.
I played back. Leaf is purple.
Oh, there's
Again,
an
pre-firing. I see D.Va bomb incoming. I speed backwards. I dodge the EMP because I was in a good position preemptively. Feels good, man. All of us live because we had amp and nobody got EMP
Nice.
because we had good peel. Good on
I
all
still
of
have
us.
the shield.
Leaf ends up dying because he splits and goes into the middle of Narnia for no reason. Unlucky to be Leafa.
My bad.
First right on the right.
Again, I'm back again.
First right. First right.
Grab left side. Grab
Okay,
left.
we're playing together. We get a fat grab. I see that we get grab, so I speed us into it. We didn't get like a ton of value from the grab, but we still ended up getting a kill, which is good. I peeled back to help Pizza because he has a far on him.
I'm fine.
No, no, no,
I'm dead.
He ends up dying.
only have
anyway,
Lucio
so
those right now.
bad.
Regroup him.
I am heals on point, and
back.
rotate back to get our Zarya because our Zarya is in win condition. I start getting chased, so I run away. Unfortunately, I wasn't
right
able
now.
to be saved.
Still winnable.
Looking.
They commit barrage. We do a good job of punishing.
There's somebody behind us. Anna.
I'm hacked. I'm hacked.
Yeah.
I'm slipped. I'm slipped.
At this point, the rest of us clean up.
Come back,
Someone
Armin.
on one.
Go Armin. Go Armin.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
Running back. Keep focusing targets. That B coming back.
I'm trying to on
So
the
at this point, I'm just doing what I can from respawn. So you guys are up, focus targets, make sure we shoot the same thing. I'm running back with beat, so I've communicated what they should be doing, that I'm returning, and that I have ult when I get back. To make sure that I'm reminding people to shoot the same thing.
I can help you. Do
I
it.
scuff Jay as my rollout.
Mercy one. Mercy
Game's
one.
live.
Mercy one.
Okay.
Do one. Do one.
Monkey,
We're a little split. I turn to deal with
Okay, with you.
I
Wilson.
can't heal you in bubble.
No primal.
I shouldn't have been in that position. I played too aggressively on my rollout. I should have played more conservatively on our stairs with Pizza, and then I should have healed it. Is it slide zone?
Okay,
against you?
Focus guard together.
Err.
Getting respawn.
Reloading.
Fair half.
Scuff Jays, I did not realize. Unlucky. Okay, so I'll fix Scuff Jay's VOD for next time. My bad, I didn't realize that it was glitchy. Okay, so at any rate, the basic idea here from my VOD review is that peel for flankers when you can. As a main support, you always want to be peeling for your flankers, be hypercritical to yourself, and be very active with talking about what ults they're going to use and how you counter that. And then based off of that, be thinking about how you should play around that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. SQ, thanks for the follow. I'm going to restart the stream real quick and try to fix the Scuffed Jays, and then I'll probably go over another map or two of stuff. 1 second, guys.